a little longer. 2 more minutes. 2-minute warning. Okay. This is a glorious sight. I feel the celebration, anticipation, and thanks for this momentous occasion. Medical students, you all look great. Can you hear me yet? Hi, guys. So I'm Dr. Levin. This is just a great day. I'm so happy to be here. I know it's happy celebration for all of us. It's a great achievement to be here today. I've seen the lines outside, the beauty salons, the barbershops all fixed up. I saw y'all walking across in nice clothes, the proud parents, and indeed, cherish every moment. This is a wonderful day. I am Dr. Leonard Levin. I'm a graduate of St. George's from 1983, which means I was here before St. George's graduated its first class. I share with this incoming class anticipation for a path that is ahead of you. We had to forge our own path. There was no path, but through my hard work, through our class's hard work, through faculty working hard, you now have an assured future, a path to success. And I am here as one of the alumni to pay it forward. I want to heartily welcome you and your family to this White Coat Ceremony, which epitomizes the heart and character of St. George's physicians. A cardinal rule of a hospice physician, which I've done along the way, is never to delay saying thank you. And I do not want to pass up this opportunity without expressing my appreciation. Dr. McPherson, can you hear me? Dr. McPherson, I want to give my heartfelt appreciation for giving me this opportunity to speak to this class. This is a very special once-in-a-lifetime experience, and it means so much to me. Class, as you get to know some of these faculty, you realize they're great physicians and they're great character role models, and I encourage you to emulate their example. I now wish to have formal introductions of our dignitaries. There's Dr. Ross Upshar, who's our keynote speaker, Dr. Richard Oles, our president, Dr. Glenn Jacobs, the provost, Mr. Brandon Grand, who is vice provost of institutional advancement, Dr. C.V. Rao, dean of students, Dr. Marius Lucas, dean of basic sciences in the School of Medicine, Mr. Bob Ryan, dean of admissions, Dr. Calvin McPherson, dean of the School of Graduate Studies, Dr. Anthony Ansdell, assistant provost, and my comment about this is these are brilliant teachers, and they have dedicated their lives. They've dedicated their lives and their time and energy to help in your success, and they are due respect and emulation. Another cardinal lesson is it's not about me. The next generation of St. George's physicians is our focus today. You will learn in physical diagnosis that it's the patient's OS, the OD, ocular dense, ocular sinister, the patient's reticular quadrant. It's all about the patients. And my message to you is every time you see a patient, remember it's their visit, it's their time, and have them as your focus for attention. So in that fashion, my focus today is not about me. You can read my CV in your program, but it's all about you. This is based on my focus on empathy and understanding. Students, as you quickly recognized on orientation, St. George's is a family. There are families you're born into, then there are families that accepted you and you accepted them. And as you came here, you started to bond together in groups called colleges, and they are families. Unlike undergraduate, when there's competition, here a rising tide floats all boats. So be there for each other, help and encourage each other. If you're a biochemist, help the classmate who is the anatomist, work with each other on learning the psychological diagnosis, be a team, and support each other through the trials and tribulations which will be out there in the future. Friends and family, I can connect to you as well, because I too had my happiest day last year when my son Jacob, who's sitting over there now, was white coated by me just last year. There is no greater joy in a parent's heart than seeing their child's dreams and emulations achieved. We have been the bastions against all the hard times. We've been the support and encouragement, and we are here today to celebrate yet another milestone in their lives. So I can really connect to you as well. The formal introduction of the White Coat Ceremony. So in 1979, one of my classmates started going out to the nursing homes in the community and the orphanages and did outreach programs long before the White Coat Ceremony. In 1993, the Arnold P. Gold Foundation created the White Coat Ceremony at Columbia University's College of Physicians and Surgeons to promote humanism in medicine. With the guidance from that Gold Foundation, St. George initiated its own White Coat Ceremony in 1996, long before many other medical schools did it. In 2003, the Gold Foundation founded the Gold Humanism Honor Society, an international society dedicated to promotion of humanism, professionalism, ethics in medical practice and education. And in the spring of 2005, Dr. Arnold Gold and his wife Sandra were our keynote speakers. Dr. Gold passed away in 2018 at 92 years of age. There's a St. George's chapter of the Gold Humanism Honor Society that's based in the Bioethics Division of the Department of Clinical Skills and supported by the Dean of the School of Medicine's office in New York. Other chapters, our chapter established the Humanitarian Student Organization in 2009, where basic science students continue to promote humanism across the GSU and Grenadian communities. The chapter members are nominated by their peers and inducted through their clinical training when they do outreach programs in the community. Let's see. The tenets of the Gold Foundation are integrity, excellence, compassion, altruism, respect, empathy, and service. These are noble ideas, but how do we apply it? My suggestion is, as you shake the hands of the patients, as you call them by their names, as you get a little history about who they are and where they're coming from, that's how you connect person to person. Never lose contact with being a human being, touching another person's life. It's a very special position we have in society. And don't let technology or the science confuse the humanism. Now, introduction and remarks by our Provost, Glenn Jacobs, and he'll introduce Dr. G. Richard Oles, our President.
Good afternoon. Okay, I'm going to try that again. Good afternoon. There we go. I would like to welcome all of you here to St. George's University and this beautiful island of Grenada. A special word of welcome to all the parents, family, and friends present here today. This is a very special day for all of you, and I would like to acknowledge you for what you have done for your student. I am sure you are very proud of them, and they of you. Students, I'm happy to welcome you here in person. I will not be addressing you that often. The next time I probably speak to you as a group will be during your graduation. You will be amazed how quickly that will be. Now, you have come here with great intellect. You have and will gain lots of knowledge while being at St. George's University. But I trust that during your time here, you will also develop your wisdom. Now, John Isso, the best-selling author, explains it so well in his book, The 5 Secrets You Must Discover Before You Die. Wisdom is different and fundamentally more important than knowledge. Knowledge is the accumulation of facts, whereas wisdom is the ability to discern what matters and what does not matter. Unless we can discover what really matters, we cannot find the true meaning in life. So I hope you remember that as you spend your time here at St. George's University. I will encourage you to take time to explore Grenada and to get to know this great community. I am looking forward to interacting with many of you during the barbecue on Sunday with the parents, spouses. Please come up to me, and if you see me on campus walking around, You've at least seen me once. Please remind me of your name, and I'll remember each one of you. No, that's not true. I probably won't, but I'll try. And it is now my pleasure to introduce to you the President of St. George's University, Dr. Richard G. Olds. Thank you.
I'm vertically challenged, so. Well, good afternoon. Glenn already warmed you up on that one. All right. Well, it is indeed my pleasure to welcome you here to the White Coat Ceremony. In contrast to Glenn, I'm actually a physician, and you actually will see me periodically during your medical education. I wanted to comment a bit about this ceremony, and I'm going to start, unfortunately, with a little bad news. When you walk up today and put on that white coat, you won't know one thing more than you did before you put it on. But when you put on that white coat, you assume a great deal of responsibility. You know, our society treats health education students very specially, especially medical students. You're allowed to hear the deepest, most secret messages of your patients. You're allowed to examine their bodies. You're present during some of the most stressful times in your patients' lives. This is a rare privilege. And when you put on that white coat, you may know no more about medicine than you do today, but you have the responsibility to act professionally, to act in a thoughtful and caring manner with your patients, and that will last for the rest of your professional career. Now, I myself am a tropical disease specialist, and I have spent most of my life actually working in developing countries. And I remember noticing an interesting thing in many, especially South American and Asian countries, and that is that many physicians are ranked in those countries among the national heroes of those countries. I must tell you, I am hard-pressed to think of a single American physician that would rise to that level of notoriety. And I hope it's not because U.S. physicians focus heavily on taking care of individual patients and their families. No doubt that's a critical issue. But many physicians in many other countries understand that the role of the physician in those communities is larger than just the care of their own patients. They must care for their communities. They must care for their countries. And yes, they must care for this world. I'll use an example I know from my own background. I spent over 30 years of my life in the island of the Philippines. The national hero of the Philippines is Dr. Jose Rizal. Now, I have no idea whether Dr. Rizal was a good doctor or not. I think that's been lost in the annals of time. And he certainly is not the national hero of the Philippines because he was a physician. He's the national hero of the Philippines because he spoke out against the atrocities committed by the Spanish colonial government that occupied his country for 400 years. And for that, he was put in front of a firing squad and shot. Now, I don't expect any of you in this room to stand in front of a firing squad for your principles. But I will say that your responsibility does go beyond just the care of your patients and their families. So 4 years from now, I will also probably see you all, and I am certain that you will all be extremely well-trained physicians. The faculty is outstanding. Your own peer group will help you become outstanding physicians. But it is my sincere hope that at that graduation, in addition to graduating many outstanding physicians, that we at least graduate a few heroes. Welcome to the noble profession of medicine. Thank you.
Hi, back to me. Okay. So now I would like to introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. Upshar, who leads the Division of Clinical Public Health at the University of Toronto's Dalai Lama School of Public Health. Dr. Upshar serves as the Scientific Director of the Bridgeport Collaborative for Research and Innovation and Associate Director for the Lunenfeld Tannenbaum Research Institute, a division of the Sinai Health System in Ontario. Dr. Upshar is also a fellow in the prestigious Hastings Center and a leader in addressing social and ethical issues confronting medicine today. Dr. Upshur earned his MD from McMaster University in 1986 and began his clinical career in rural primary care. Later, he completed his MSc in epidemiology and a fellowship in community medicine and in public health. He has at least 5 master's degrees and has been teaching for years now. He's a prolific writer, researcher, leader. He is one of the top 20 Canadian pioneers in family practice research. He is a family medicine researcher of the year. And the other thing about him is that he is a compassionate, caring physician. He's impacting lives, and I see one person at a time. His work enables him to affect whole communities. Some of y'all have passions to change healthcare in your communities, for migrant communities, for rural healthcare, et cetera, and he is a prime example of how you can make the world a better place just because you're there. So this is a good example of how St. George's has brought prestigious thought leaders to our community so you too can have great thoughts. So I welcome Dr. Upshur to the stage. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon. I'm looking in the audience for the gentleman that was just described. If you see him, let me know. So, Provost Jacobs, President Olds, invited dignitaries, deans, faculty, family, friends, and of course, students. Congratulations. What an incredible, exciting day for you, your family, and most of all for your future. You are on the threshold of commencing a career in one of the most respected and trusted of professions. When you shortly don your white coat, you will become part of a tradition of service to humanity that dates back through millennia. It is an honor and a privilege for me to offer some thoughts on what it means to be a physician. I'm most grateful to Professor Cheryl Cox McPherson for the invitation and opportunity. I am mindful of the many eminent speakers who have performed this task over the years and hope to do them, and particularly you and your families, justice. I'm an early riser, and as when I looked out the window this morning, there was a rainbow in the sky, and it was pointing at St. George's campus. And I thought, wow, this is particularly auspicious given the day, as rainbows are symbols of hopes and of dreams, of new beginnings, but also of diversity, choice, and opportunity. I see in the audience a gathering of young people who have overcome and persevered and now stand prepared to enter the profession of medicine. I want to cover 4 main issues. I want to start with a few comments and reflections on what I see the current zeitgeist is in medicine and outline some high-level issues that may frame your career. Then I will address 3 commitments central to medical practice: commitment to care of self, commitment to advancing the profession through continuous learning and research, and, most importantly, commitment to the patients you serve and the communities they live in. To be sure, things are very different from when I entered medicine in 1983. Lenny and I are of a similar vintage. Now, I don't want to sound like a complete dinosaur, but at that time we had no computers, no internet, no cell phones. We had no effective antiviral therapy for HIV/AIDS, no statins for cardiovascular disease, no MRIs. I could go on and on with a tedious enumeration of difference. But you may want to make an inventory of such things from the start of your career. What diseases or conditions seem to escape our ability to manage? What kinds of diagnostic tests do we lack and do we need? And keep watch of the changes you will witness in your career. One exercise I have medical students do is to make a time capsule and speculate on what they think will change in medicine in their career in the future. The time capsule is to be sealed and opened at their 25th reunion. Now, I invite you to do the same thing, and perhaps, God willing, I can join you in 2044 and we can see how your predictions have fared. You are entering an era of medicine where technology is more rapidly changing healthcare than at any time in the previous centuries of innovation. The revolution in omics disciplines, rapid genomic sequencing, gene editing, virtual care, artificial intelligence and machine learning, big data, wearables linked to mobile devices, apps, will no doubt feature prominently in your careers. Some have argued that these new technologies may result in the disappearance of the medical profession. I highly doubt that possibility. The nature of clinical practice is changing as well. The population is aging globally. Chronic disease management, in fact, the management of multiple concurrent chronic diseases, in older adults, may be the defining nature of many of your clinical lives, particularly if you choose family medicine or internal medicine. There's increasing focus on quality and accountability in care, pressure on physicians to act as gatekeepers for resources, marked changes in the organization of physician practices and remuneration. There's also an increased recognition of the impact that social determinants have on shaping health and particular inequalities in health outcomes. One of my central roles in research is to figure out ways in which clinicians can serve to help address and redress these health inequalities. There's also rising concern with macro-level environmental changes and the impact on human health, climate change. As pandemic influenza and Ebola remind us, health threats have become globalized, and infectious diseases by no means vanquished as a threat to humanity. So challenging times indeed to be entering the medical profession, but these challenges are invigorating, I hope, motivating to you, and addressing them will give shape to meaningful careers. In the past 2 years, I've had the great privilege of participating in the revision of the Canadian Medical Association's Code of Ethics and Professionalism. This provided an excellent opportunity to reflect on what it means to be a physician and the core values and commitments that give us identity and purpose. First published in 1868, and to be honest, I know there's some Canadians out there, it was largely copied from the American Medical Association Code of Ethics from a few decades previously. But it has undergone over a dozen major revisions since that time. Having closely read all of the revisions, I want to assure you that the medical codes of ethics are not like the Ten Commandments. Not much is written in stone, but many of the core commitments have endured, and I will turn to a few of them shortly. Often the provisions reflect concerns of the time. The advent of radio, for example, spurred considerable debate about who had the right to speak on behalf of the medical profession, a quaint notion in this age of Twitter and social media. The 1868 Code of Ethics had a section on patients' obligations to physicians. Physicians in the audience may find it amusing that clauses included, a patient should never weary his physician with tedious details of events or matters not appertaining to their disease, and the obedience of a patient to the prescriptions of his physician should be prompt and implicit. The medical profession may be still prone to various biases, but such overt paternalism is likely buried in the past given the rise of patient autonomy and patient-centered approaches. The reason for raising the Code of Ethics and Professionalism revisions is not just to reflect on the past and to make some amusing observations, but it relates to the first point I want to make, care of self. In 2018, in our revision, for the first time, the Code of Ethics and Professionalism includes a section explicitly devoted to self-care and the obligations of physicians to care for themselves and their peers. A recent Harvard study called Physician Burnout, a Public Health Crisis That Demands Urgent Attention, with up to 50% of clinicians reporting symptoms related to burnout. Physician well-being is an important issue, and these concerns extend to you as medical students. Now, I don't want to dampen the enthusiasm and excitement that each and every one of you is feeling today, but my specialty is preventive medicine, and this kind of burnout and stress can be prevented. Take good care of yourself and your colleagues. Have a trusted physician manage your health issues, particularly mental health issues. When I had a clinical practice, I'm now a consultant, I had a large physician practice, so internists, surgeons, including some of the most well-known physicians in Toronto. And I can say with confidence that physicians make interesting patients. When I retire, I'm going to write a book about being a doctor to doctors, but I can't do it right now. It'd still be rather career-limiting. We are woefully bad at self-management, and I know this from my own experience of inaccurate self-diagnosis. We like to trade skin checks for colonoscopies at grand rounds. At some point, many of you will self-diagnose a non-existent serious illness. It comes with the territory. You likely have few health problems now, but in a few decades, you may be tempted to behave like my patients and I did. Don't. Be good to your colleagues and peers. Build supportive networks like Ballant groups to discuss the many stresses and strains you will experience. You are not alone, and providing and receiving support are admirable traits to cultivate. By donning the white coat, you will become a custodian and guarantor of the knowledge and teaching that has been handed down from generation to generation and grown in exponential fashion. No one of you will be able to lay claim to complete mastery of medical knowledge. That is simply impossible. About 50% of what you will be taught in the next years will be superseded within the first decade of your practice. So learn to learn and commit time through your career to professional development and continuing education. Read constantly and cultivate skills in critical thinking and critical appraisal. I've regularly taught critical appraisal to medical students and residents through my career. And when the Harry Potter generation entered medicine, I advertised the rounds as defense against the dark arts. Now, I do hope my pedagogy was more Remus Lupin than Severus Snape, but these will be indispensable skills as there are more sources for patients to seek health information and, frankly, epidemic levels of misinformation and wishful thinking about health and well-being. Some are overtly dangerous, so your capacity to guide patients and communities wisely using the best science and clinical evidence will continue to distinguish physicians from other healers. Sir William Osler, a Canadian hero, founder of Johns Hopkins Medical School, wrote that medicine is a science of uncertainty and an art of possibility. Even with the immense growth of knowledge in the last 50 years, there is still considerable uncertainty, and embracing uncertainty will be a key aspect of your growth as a clinician. Recognizing when there is no good evidence on how to optimally manage the patients you see is an opportunity to help close those knowledge gaps by engaging and contributing to research. I am of the firm conviction that clinical insights are necessary for the growth of clinical medicine. Despite concerns for the disappearance of the clinician scientist, virtually every physician can find a way to integrate knowledge creation and uptake and dissemination of evidence in their practice and in their communities. Be a teacher. One of the best ways to repay the gifts bestowed upon you by your teachers at St. George's is to become a teacher yourself. As medicine is still largely a self-regulating profession, it relies upon its own members. That will be you soon to guarantee the competence and quality of the next generation. And there is no better way to keep yourself up to date and give back to the profession than to open the doors of your practice and provide a clinical placement for trainees and students. This can start early. As soon you will no longer be newbies. This time next year, there will be a new group of students as anxious and excited as you. By then, you will all be seasoned and grizzled veterans of medical school. Take the opportunity to mentor and guide, as well as seeking out mentorship and guidance. From what I've said so far, I hope I've impressed on you the organic, intergenerational nature of the medical profession. It grows, reforms, progresses dramatically, has its setbacks. But the most important element is the human element and the enduring relationship between you, your peers and colleagues, and most importantly, you and your patients and the communities they live in. This last observation gives rise to the third and final point I wish to make. What separates medicine from other professions and gives it its unique significance is that it is fundamentally committed to the service of humanity. A physician is not self-interested in their practice, but committed to the well-being of others. People seek a physician when they are ill, stressed, worried, or concerned about their health. People turn to the medical profession for advice on how to deal with the pressing and urgent health challenges to their communities. This worry and concern makes individuals and communities vulnerable, and this vulnerability underlies the unique moral foundation upon which medicine rests. As Edmund Pellegrino noted, and Ed Pellegrino, whose work I encourage you to read as a leading medical ethicist and physician, the clinical encounter is the central defining moral relationship of medicine, and this reality forms the basis of the moral obligations the physician assumes when he or she offers to heal, help, care for, or comfort a sick patient. There are still many conditions for which effective therapies or modalities of prevention do not exist. To quote Pellegrino again, cure may be futile, but care is never futile. Our job is to abide with our patients, not abandon them, even when we have little left in our therapeutic armamentarium. Although sickness, and as noted by President Olds, does not define the roles and responsibilities of a physician, indeed I started out as a rural physician and felt somewhat disempowered by my ability to affect change in the community, hence I moved into public health to look at different ways of trying to improve the health of populations. And I encourage you to take seriously your commitments to public health and improving the health of communities locally and globally. But still, the fundamental nature of a sick patient or sickness still is the primordial basis upon which our profession rests. Physicians cultivate special relationships with patients and society, quite unlike that of any other profession or vocation. As part of your service, I want to encourage you to cultivate excellences, or what are also known as virtues. This is not to suggest that you will be deficient if you fall short of perfection. Nobody is, but to encourage you to strive for excellence and aspire to improving the profession of medicine for the betterment of all. In our revised Code of Ethics and Professionalism, we consciously reintroduced virtues that we hope physicians will exemplify. Cultivate trust and be trustworthy. Embody compassion. Be honest and forthright. Practice prudently with integrity and humility. Hippocrates wrote thousands of years ago, wisely and presciently, life is short, the art long, opportunity fleeting, experiment treacherous, and judgment difficult. I am thrilled that you have chosen to make the practice of medicine your career. You will be constantly stimulated, seldom bored, and often awestruck by what you learn from your patients. They will be your greatest and most humbling teachers. You will garner insights about humanity that few others can. You will have enormous power and privilege. Use it wisely and judiciously. Be generous and give back. I wish each of you success in your studies and hope that you have long and rewarding careers. The motto of St. George's University is think forward. So think forward boldly and embrace the challenges of the future. The world desperately needs your passion, commitment, and capacity to heal. Thank you very much.
Hi, it's me again. Guys, I just want to take one small point out of this. One of my joys of giving back to St. George's is doing interviews. Some of you I actually interviewed and vouched for coming to St. George's. I know your character. I know your passions. I know your desires to help the next young lady get experience in medicine, the next minority person to get an opportunity to know about health care. And I know you've got that passion and desire to make the world a better place. That's why you're here. And you're surrounded by other really good people likewise. So the words we heard today, the words we hear in a few more minutes about the white coat and the oath we'll take it to heart. And it's an affirmation of the kind of person and characters you are. Next. The St. George's University School of Medicine will now present you with a white coat symbolizing your entry to the profession and your commitment to uphold the duties and trust associated with medicine and medical training. To assist Dr. Upshur and myself with coating you, I now invite several faculty to join us on stage. Our coaters today are Dr. G. Richard Olds, President of St. George's University. Dr. Gabriel Wilcott Vidal, Director of the Endow Program. Dr. Hisham Al-Nash, Associate Director of McIndoe. Dr. Thea Canalias, Director of Hippocrates. Dr. Kathy Yearwood, Director of the University Health Systems. And two alumni who are giving back to school in a very big way. Please invite up Dr. Mary Jo DeMello, who was the past president of St. George University School of Medicine Alumni Association. And Dr. Debbie Coy, past vice president of St. George University School of Medicine's Alumni Association. One small thing. Please hold your applause until each line of folks have been introduced so that folks can hear the names being announced. Please do not block the aisles so that the students can safely pass and repass and others have a clear view. Thank you.
Murtada Majid from USA, New York.
And please undo your buttons of the coat so we can button up nicely.
Junaina Bui, Massachusetts, USA. Christopher Four, Pennsylvania, USA. Michael Zarella, Connecticut, USA. Asal Fahim, California, USA. David Tohidi, New Jersey, USA. Garrison Kohler, Georgia, USA. Adam Ruiz, Illinois, USA. Erkanda Bilali, Florida, USA. Nicholas Luke, New Jersey, USA. Anish Varghese, New York, USA. Nilo Kasari, California, USA. Mishi Manlusak, California, USA. Priyanka Patel, Illinois, USA. Sonia George, New Jersey, USA. Alan Fox, Ecuador. Nikita Bimani, Pennsylvania, USA. Risha Rea, Malaysia. Kaylee McKenney, Nova Scotia, Canada. Dawit Zena, Kansas, USA. Thank you. Franz and Alexin from New York will be robed by mother and father, Doctors Gerald and Georgette Alexis from Kings County Hospital. Kenneth Long, Hong Kong. James Kerr, South Carolina. Santiago Ramos, Peru. Shelley Patel, New Jersey. Nashay Rose, Texas. Joel Sarkis, California. Kelsey Dubon, Guam. Christopher Braganolo, Illinois. Taylor Previer, California. Con Tran, California. Gabrielle Lorenz, Washington. Stephanie Thomas, New York. Danielle Vergio, New York. Jasmine Custodio, California. Yusuke Wakita, California. Sayali Modkarkar, California. Lama Isa, Canada. Yogita Kalaki Prasad, quoted by her father, Jalawal Kalaki Prasad. Jessica Horner, Texas. Hunter Bosena, Florida. Emmanuel Ramos, Florida. Janice Lee, New Jersey. Yuchan Lee, California. Hansel Blair Rodriguez, Florida. Morgan McDonough, Pennsylvania. Zachary Cassisa, New Jersey. Satyam Patel, Pennsylvania. Louis Damashkia, Michigan. Yashini Gopal, quoted by Dr. Laksha Nachimuthu. Umang Patel, Florida. Joseph Brennan, Virginia. Kevin Chen, New York. Muhammad Islam, Georgia. Anthony Wen, California. Faizan Butt, New Jersey. Oybek Nazarov, Uzbekistan. Amanda Miller, California. Constadina Calores, Illinois. Michael Jacoby, Florida. Sushmita Diraviam, Pennsylvania. Claire Purcell, Pennsylvania. Daisy Hannah, coated by her mother, Dr. Heidi Behrman, New Jersey. Chris Lee Cuento, California. Anila Kumar, California. Medina Kamosh, California. Michelle Hambleton, Florida. Alexander Johnston, Michigan. Mina Tawadros, Egypt. Ernesto Blay, Virginia. Michael Ayub, Sudan. Avetis Boyajan, California. Armand Majikian, California. Wade Nolan, Michigan. Davin Tuco, Ontario. Jamie Scott, England. Chanel Harris, Grenada. Ryan Rivera, New York. Cash Dangar, Texas. Philip Yan, Washington. Zachary Backton, New Jersey. Aurora Ovibayajili, Texas. Carl Rhea, Tennessee. Dylan Debin, Connecticut. Esther Rafat, California. Cassandra Roche, Michigan. Anna Herbach, New York. Charles Pretoria, South Africa. Noah Tolan, New York. Yodika Singh, Ontario. Bital Sadiq, New York. Sharon Rose, Nione, Tennessee. Justin Ida, Texas. Joshua Kubash, California. Zinath Mohammed, Florida. Adriana Aslimian, California. Samantha Galvin, California. Jaron Phillips, Wisconsin. Shan Kwong, California. Andrew Pauline, New Jersey. Viren Patel, Pennsylvania. Valentina Garcia, Florida. Maria Kapusidis, South Carolina. Athena Lakinides, Florida. Amanda Said, New Jersey. Anik Roy, Florida. Anudeep Draksharpu, Texas. Elizabeth Rimsky, New York. Naira Nuritnova, Ohio. Jillian Weiss, Michigan. Kiri Corredor Guerrero, Florida. Gabrielle Unbahon, Tennessee. Gamel Musleh, New Jersey. Jiyun Kim, South Korea. Aminat Bello, Michigan, Nigeria. Chinyeri Ozogwi, Georgia. Ashley Salas, New Jersey. Matthew Bond, North Carolina. Andrew Fisher, Canada. Chelsea Dantas, New Jersey. Amanda Duggan, Alberta. Laurentine McGill, Texas. Ashley Acheta, Texas. Bianca Griffiths, New York. This is Taylor Antog Giovanni Fraser from Utah, coated by her father, Dr. Mark Fraser. Natalie Vitello, Canada. Caroline Bashur, Ohio. Maya Shady Castaneda, Cuba. Dana Almeida, Texas. Ubikum Ige, Georgia. Rushi Patel, New Jersey. Gloria Shu, Mississippi. Vaishnavi Govind, California. Kai Wong, Toronto, Canada. Hasib Hadari, California. Edgar Javogian, California. Harold Lam, California. Navneet Goel, California. Kush Patel, Michigan. Jesse Adkins, Washington. Kevin Jiang, Connecticut. Tiffany Lewis, Grenada. Brian Hapaya, New Jersey. Christina Ortiz, Florida. Brandon Duke. Alyssa Payette, Connecticut. Mujtaba Raimi, Virginia. Joseph Churchill, Tennessee. Mukul Gupta, Ontario. Brinda Baniji, New Jersey. Joanna John, Texas. Kiran Kaur, Ohio. Saida Rashid, Wisconsin. Hafsa Zulfikar, California. Hina Ansari, Missouri. Savraj Sagu, Virginia. Adnan Kura, Kentucky. Coated by his father, Dr. Firas Kura. Iman Suleiman, Florida. Apruva Pulavarpu, New Jersey. Samraja Kuna, Missouri. Anshika Kapoor, Minnesota. Nicola Sharchenko from North Dakota, coated by her brother, Cameron Sharchenko. Brendan Gosh, North Dakota. Zachary Duarte, Seattle. McKenna Allen, Texas. Catherine Jacobson, California. Daman Gill, California. Whitney Ludwig, Texas. Natalie Clark, New York. Stephanie Newsom, Massachusetts. Matthew Henry, Connecticut. Juliet Silverman, South Carolina. Valentina Bedoya, New York. Seth Williams, Mississippi. Miguel Castellon, Massachusetts. Anupama Dwaki, Massachusetts. Ushani Jayasingh, from Connecticut, coated by her uncle, Dr. Anuruddha Walayada. Deepika Mukhara, coated by her mother, Dr. Hemlatha Mukhara, from Virginia. Rachel Wexler, Florida. Nicholas Hiswa, California. Christopher Austin, New Jersey. Shafali Patti, Indiana. Julian Esquera, New Jersey. Jessica Luzaka, New York. Jennifer Youngblood, Florida. Sayed Husseini, Georgia. Stephen Over, Washington. Sibongili Kotuma, Virginia. Nicoletta DeJude, Florida. Marina Nasser, New York. Armand Astani, Michigan. Jesse Farrell, New Jersey. Caitlin Nielsen, California. Anthony Flores, New Jersey. Ali Jafari, Massachusetts. Manshika Talasila, New Jersey. Chelsea Braffett, Grenada. Aliyah Marks, Guyana.
I forgot to unbutton it.
Amy Gittins, Grenada. Belinda Atpen, Massachusetts. Malia Mali, Florida. Daniel Lee, California. Osila Rapa, New York. Elizabeth Ogmoyan, California. Brandon Willis, California.
Congratulations to the whole class. It's great to have you all in the fold, in the family. Let's see. Today's program is about character. Each of you was screened for this important aspect of becoming a St. George's physician. Feel good about yourself and about your classmates. All of you are people of feeling and action with compassion, caring, understanding, and all fully dedicated to quality and ethics. You must have knowledge and skills which you will learn at St. George's during your residency and during your daily care of patients. Humanism is the key to quality care, finding joy treating people and not diseases, and truly touching on lives. You are known by the company you keep. Here in our community, in your future practices, you'll set the example by the Gold Foundation's values. Your office will become a peaceful, caring, therapeutic environment if you make it so. Set the example for your staff. If you care, they will care. If you show empathy and understanding, they will also, and you'll be a happier practice. Your place will be a place of peace and happiness. Now I'm going to ask all St. George's University medical students and physicians in the audience to rise. While this oath specifically mentions physicians, in many ways it applies to advanced practice nurses and nursing assistants and nurses and other healthcare providers. It is my important lesson to be inclusive and respectful of your colleagues. The experienced nurse can save you during clinicals and save your patients. The pharmacist will refer patients and apprise you when there is a prescription error or suspicious patients. Recall my hospice team model, which is medicine is a collaborative practice. So allied health professionals, you're welcome to rise up and be counted. Paraphrasing with this oath. Please refer to the back of your booklet. As a member of the student body of St. George's University School of Medicine, an institution of medical education dedicated to high standard of ethics and academic achievement, and recognizing that it is the duty of the university community to nurture responsible, competent, and safe physicians who exhibit professional maturity and sound moral character. I agree. To adhere to the university policy of maintaining a high standard of honor and academic integrity. To uphold these ideals by refraining from cheating, plagiarism, lying, or theft, and to accept the responsibility of reporting such wrongdoing upon request. It is understanding that any breach of this code necessitates disciplinary action subject to the university officials. One sign acquaintance to the code is effect. Today is the beginning, top of the page. Today is the beginning of my medical education and training as a physician. I acknowledge my responsibility to continue the pursuit of knowledge and understanding until the day when I will cease to be a practicing physician. I am entering training for a noble profession in which my interests must always be subservient to those who may seek my advice. I must be ever conscious of the value of my fellow health professionals and treat them with respect at all times. My classmates at St. George's University are now my colleagues, and I owe to them the same support and encouragement to achieve their goals as I hope to receive from them. I will work alongside my colleagues and professors with tolerance, compassion, and honesty. I acknowledge my obligation to adhere to the University Honor Code and conduct myself with integrity in an ethical manner at all times. Henceforth, I shall do all within my power to show in myself an example of all that is honorable and good throughout my medical career. It is a privilege to have been given the opportunity to become a physician. May I be ever conscious of that privilege and never abuse it. Thank you all. You can sit down now. So my new family and friends, just like you, my class that started in 1979 embarked on a journey to our future with self-confidence and inspired with a passion to become physicians. Pause and reflect on that passion. Find that song or poem that encourages you to become outstanding physicians and gives you hope for a bright future beyond the horizon. We don't know what to see. We can't see it yet, but we can dream with our eyes wide open and be prepared and thankful for who we are, where we are, doing what was meant to be done. It is my hope and prayer that you too will say after 40 years, there is no place I would rather be, nothing I would rather do than be here and now practicing medicine. I wish for each of you in this newest class to find that love of kindness, righteousness, blessing others, compassion, celebrating life, and may you have the inner peace that glows for those around you. It is now a final cardinal lesson. I will ask you to stand and show respect for your teachers and honor dignitaries as they exit. They honored you with their presence here, and you should honor them with this sign of courtesy. Allow them to exit first, then you can greet them and your families as you exit. We'll gather on the, I call it Papa, Lewis, and Mama Marie Modica Hall for our reception. Thank you for coming today.